All right, but there really is nothing. I want to talk about Sudan. So this movement in Sudan has been going on for almost a year, and it was sparked by a massive increase in bread prices and other cuts. It's an austerity protest movement, began as such. Milton and I went in depth on this, along with what's happening in Uganda on TMBS on Tuesday, and that will be clipped on the Michael Brooks Show YouTube channel. And also, we've done other segments on Sudan as well. The big things to remember contextually are it's anti-austerity. Omar Al-Bashir, who's ran Sudan since 1989, was finally dislodged. This guy was a major liberal cause celeb when he was committing crimes in Darfur almost 10 years ago. And of course, all the human rights activism here, obviously it didn't understand all of the geopolitical complexities, but it was right in the broad definition that, of course, Omar al-Bashir was absolutely a gangster and a thug and a war criminal and so on. It is astonishing the profound lack of interest until quite recently of an incredibly resourceful, smart, brilliant bottom-up Sudanese movement that mobilized in some of the very creative ways that Brian Mayer was talking about, in terms of people's councils, in terms of youth movements, in terms of the traditional labor unions and professional classes in Sudan. And that's one note. The other note is Omar al-Bashir has actually sort of brought himself back into the international system somewhat by being quite helpful in blocking people from migrating to Europe, as an example, and cooperating in his own authoritarian way with the authoritarian wave in the Western countries. So there's always that relationship between capital and between the West. And the third thing, as we've learned from Egypt, it's never just the figurehead, it's the system that they've put into place, from their crony capitalist networks, the military, and also gangs and paramilitaries that are subcontracted to do the dirty work. So the Sudanese have stayed out in force because this military transition council they knew was not what they wanted. They want actual change. They want a removal of autocratic leadership and the old ineffective official opposition parties. And now the crackdown has started. And it is so ruthless and murderous. People are getting shot. People are getting murdered. Then the gangs and military that are killing them are blocking the roads to the hospitals so people bleed out, so people can't have their injuries treated. The Janjaweed, which were the group that was a household name, maybe not quite a household name, but a George Clooney name when they were in Darfur committing murder, they're part of what has been unleashed in Khartoum to prop the military. So that's the context. This clip on Amy Goodman on Democracy Now! Is with a Sudanese activist, Marine Al-Nil. That's at Marine Al-Nil, MarineAlneel. Follow her on Twitter. And here she is explaining the state of the protests with Amy Goodman on Democracy Now!
Can you talk about the numbers of people who've been killed, why people are sitting in, and who did the killing?
The numbers saying that it's more than 100 is actually a gross underestimation because still the sit-in is not a safe area. It is difficult to go and find the dead bodies of the protesters that may still be there. There are also news of people being still stuck in buildings within the sit-in area. They cannot leave because the streets are full of rapid support forces. This is the forces that have attacked the sit-in and are still terrorizing Khartoum. Khartoum is, for all intents and purposes, currently under military occupation by the Rapid Support Forces, previously known as the Janjaweed, under Hemeti's leadership. And he is still calling for attacking the people who are barricading the streets around Khartoum. He is saying that they will pay the price. Many believe that when Hemeti says paying the price, he is only talking about killing, and there's a indiscriminate...
And explain who he is.
Hemeti is the leader of the Rapid Support Forces. He is currently the vice president of the Military Council, and he's the person who's leading all of the attacks that are happening, that have happened at the sit-in and are happening around Khartoum.
In a significant step, the African Union has suspended Sudan over the violence against protesters.